What up, Space Fam? Goes in here from Anime Uproar, back at it again with yet another Fire Dragon Ball Super chapter. I have been loving this arc so far. First Vegeta's new epic form, and now the reintroduction of one of my favorite all-time characters in the series, meaning Bardock, Goku's dad, of course. Goku finally discovers who his father is, and we get to see his reaction. We got to find out Bardock's secret past, and it changes everything about the present events in the story. So make sure to stay tuned for this amazing chapter because there is so much to talk about. If you do enjoy seeing Dragon Ball Super reviews and want to keep them coming, make sure to channel the Saiyan Within and smash that like button like it was a heater. Remember, smashing that like button is Goku energy and passing is Yamcha energy, so choose wisely. If you haven't, make this the video you subscribe, and this is crucial. Hit that notification bell to turn on all notifications or you will miss future Dragon Ball videos. Before we get into it, I want to give a quick shout out to the one and only Raid Shadow Legends. This game just keeps growing and they now have over 600 champions, including some top tier waifus, which is always my main priority. But on top of the champions, they also have very cool bosses like this dude, Guardian of the Void Keep Malek Kevar. He used to be a priest of light until one night he realized that there cannot be any light without darkness. This heresy got him kicked out of his priesthood, but he was right though. How would you even know what light is if you didn't have darkness? This guy makes you think, bro, is he a villain or a Zen master? Seriously, one of the best things about Raid are the constant and consistent updates that keep the game interesting. Oh, and since it's October, Raid's got a non-stop schedule of special events and activities as we approach Halloween. We're talking big rewards, tournaments against other players, special events too. You even might get brand new legendary champions, including a spooky Halloween champion and much more. If you want an even bigger head start, all you have to do is hit that link in the description or scan the QR code right here. New players will get an epic hero, Chonoru, who is amazing in the Doom Tower. 200k silver, 1 XP boost, 1 energy refill, and the 1 ancient shard so you can summon an awesome champion as soon as you get in game. You will find your rewards here in your inbox for the next 30 days only. And now, without further ado, let's jump into it, spoilers and all. We get a flashback to 40 years ago, and remember Monaito recently said that Bardock was the one who saved him and Granola, so this is going to be a chapter explaining how exactly that crazy scenario went down, how a Saiyan, the race Granola swore to destroy, actually went out of his way to save him and Monaito. Back in this flashback, it's pretty idyllic. The Cerealians are happy and living in harmony with the Namekians, but then one day the Fire Nation attacked, and they came in the form of Saiyans working under Frieza, along with other Frieza henchmen. Notably, it was during the full moon, so the Saiyans could use their giant ape transformation for maximum destruction. We see a bunch of giant Saiyan apes wreaking havoc along with other Frieza forces. We're told there weren't many Cerealians and Namekians to start with, so the invasion went off without a hitch. The old elder on the verge of death made Monaito the new elder and passed the Dragon Balls off to him, so they remained in existence. Before he knew it, Monaito was the last surviving Namekian on the planet, and he said the Cerealians didn't fare much better. We see one giant ape with a scar on his face, and of course most of us already know this is Bardock. We recognize the unique scar. He chases down Granola and his mother to a destroyed building, and then little cute Granola is so scared he just passes out right away. Then another Cerealian realizes the moon is important and they shoot to destroy it, harming one Saiyan in the process since the blast scraped his dome. The moon is successfully destroyed Piccolo style and the great apes revert back to normal Saiyans. Unfortunately though, for the Cerealians, this is not a huge benefit because the Saiyans are still strong AF compared to them even without their transformations, and the remaining Cerealians get killed except Granola and his mom. Before we get to Bardock and Granola's mom, we do see that dude who got a wound across his forehead upset because of his cut. And it's like, dude, you just killed an entire people, don't complain about a cut on your head. But it goes to show that this was just business as usual for the Saiyans. Killing and destroying was par for the course, but getting a flesh wound was an annoyance. We don't know for sure what would have happened if he stayed a great ape, but luckily for Granola and his fine mom, he reverted back to his base form after the moon was destroyed. As a result, he's face to face with Granola's mom as she holds her son in her arms. And of course, Bardock makes a baby with her, leaving her pregnant with Goku, meaning that Granola was trying to kill his half-brother the entire time. And of course, I'm totally kidding, but could you imagine? Anyways, back to reality as Slim says. This face-to-face circumstance allows Granola's mom to get a shot off on Bardock, which grazes his skin and rips off his shoulder armor. The wound and the sight of a mom holding her kid protectively trigger a memory for Bardock, and it's exactly what us Dragon Ball fans want to see. Goku's mom is reprimanding Bardock for missing his son's birth. And Bardock drops such a Goku line here saying, "That explains why your tummy's flat again." She gives him a bit of a hard time, but I'm sure Saiyan dads are pretty horrible in general, so she gets over it pretty quickly. She even brings him to Goku and lets Bardock name him. Side note, we see a cute little Raditz as a kid playing outside. I mean, he's so precious right here. It surprises me how much I appreciate seeing Raditz again, even if it's just for a moment like this. But back to Bardock. Bardock appears to be taken aback when he sees Goku, to the point where Goku's mom notices. The implication could be that Bardock is getting more in touch with his sympathetic emotional side, something that's not obviously emphasized within Saiyans. He decides to name the baby Kakarot, so it's Bardock's decision, and the mom loves it and agrees, excited about the name. She hugs the tank in which Goku is floating, saying, "Grow up big and strong, my little Kakarot," which is just so heartwarming and wholesome. Absolutely love this moment, and I feel like it should be on a Christmas card or something. Even though Goku didn't really grow up knowing this family, it's so nice to know that it was such a loving one. So back to the present within the first flashback. I know this is starting to seem like Flashception, but back to Bardock confronting Granola's mom. In his mind, he's now juxtaposing and comparing the image of his son and the mother of his child with Granola and his mom. Understandably, this makes him doubt himself and makes him not want to hurt them, just like how he wouldn't want anyone to hurt his family. The Saiyan with the new scar on his forehead, he seems to be playing quite a recurrent role in this flashback, comes along and tells Bardock the mission is done and they've been ordered to leave, but Bardock says he'll stick around and check for survivors. So ironically, he's presenting himself as someone who wants to kill people even after the mission is done, when he's actually the only one wanting to save people. The Saiyan tells Bardock to be quick since Frieza himself will be there soon. Another interesting twist. Then Bardock senses what seems to be an animal with a power level of 5, but then figures out it must be a person since its movements are too deliberate. This is such a small detail, but I absolutely love it. It's simple but shows Bardock's deductive skills and offers a cool creative way of reading power levels. Turns out this animal was in fact a Namekian, Monaito to be specific, who had been repressing his power level, and Bardock was intrigued that he could control his power level. Bardock is actually very cool here as Monaito goes to hysterically attack him while Bardock calmly stops his cane with his hand. He's actually holding Granola here, showing just how much he helped him. We finally find out that Granola's mom's name is Muesli, but I don't think that's super important for us in the story. Of course, Monaito is glad to see survivors and offers them shelter. Bardock warns them that Frieza is coming and that they'll have to keep hidden from his radar. Bardock does get mushy when asked why he helped them. He just says he felt like it. I like it when characters don't make a big deal of their good deeds like this, and honestly, Bardock has probably been on the killing side way more often than the mercy side, so he probably would reject the very idea of people looking at him as a good, nice guy anyways. He tells them to survive as long as possible, and Monaito asks his name, so he knows the Saiyan who saved them, and gets the answer, Bardock. He might have known that Bardock and Goku were related anyways based off of their appearance, but since he got the name, Vegeta will be able to assure Goku that that was in fact his dad. So we jump back to the present with an understandably surprised Granola, who's only survived this long because of a Saiyan's mercy. Yeah, Goku and him are not brothers, but he's still the son of the man who saved him, so he probably feels bad about trying to blindly kill him. Monaito finally says that Goku and Bardock look exactly alike, and Goku has no idea if this Bardock is his father. He says he was raised by Grandpa Gohan on Earth, but Vegeta makes it clear that yes, Bardock is his father, and we finally get Goku discovering who his true father was. He's surprised, saying, "Really, my father?" Although Goku clearly wasn't curious enough about his past to ask Vegeta about his dad, he has been embracing his Saiyan side more and more, thanks in part to Vegeta, and I think he will be interested to learn more about his dad at this point than he would have been when Raditz first came to Earth. After all, his reaction is not the reaction of someone who couldn't care less. Goku says he wish he knew something about his dad, but he doesn't, and Vegeta says his soft-hearted nature clearly runs in the family. And although at first you can't really say they were soft-hearted, they both had the potential to eventually become more soft-hearted given the right circumstances, as we've seen. Whether every Saiyan given the right circumstances has the potential to become just as soft-hearted is up for debate. Granola then gets angry again, asking how come his mother didn't survive. After all, in the flashback so far, she's still fine. And then Monaito returns to the flashback. Before Bardock leaves, Monaito thanks him in part by healing his arm, just as we've seen some other Namekians do. It's actually lucky for Monaito that he did keep Bardock around because he's able to detect the heaters when they arrive. Really like the way they incorporated the heaters in this backstory. At first, I wasn't crazy about the heaters, but this makes it feel like they're relevant to the history of this universe, and it makes me care more about what happens to them in the present too. And just FYI, when I say care about what happens to them, that doesn't mean I want them to be okay, or for good things to happen to them. It just means that whatever happens to them now carries more weight for me than it did before. Bardock right away recognized them, saying the frickin' heaters. Another nice touch that lets us know how big of a deal they are even 40 years ago. Bardock explains they are brokers and they've set their eyes on this planet. We immediately see the relation to this moment and the present, since they are talking about starting negotiating on a price with the Sugarians right now for the planet. And we know in the present they've already made a home for themselves on this planet. Alec only plans to give 1/10 of the price they get for the planet to Frieza's forces, even though they did all the work. This gives you a sense of how they became so rich over time. He even insults Frieza's men, saying most of them just want to battle and don't even know the planet's true value. Even at this point, Alec was very wary of Frieza, saying it's just important that he doesn't catch on to their scheme because he's actually got brains and obviously the power to boot. Even 40 years ago, they were talking about reigning over Frieza's army, so I gotta give one thing to them, they got patience. Bardock finds out that they are plotting to betray Frieza, and obviously it's dangerous for anyone to know that information because the heaters will pay any cost to make sure that they don't make it alive to tell Frieza. Finally, Granola wakes up and freaks out when he sees a Saiyan, and that is what attracts the heaters' attention. Monaito puts Granola back to sleep, so again it explains why he didn't remember any of this, but wow, it sucks for him that he just slept, woke up and betrayed their location, and just went to sleep again, especially when we look at just what betraying their location leads to. Obviously he was just a kid and it's not his fault, but there's no doubt in the future he'll probably blame himself, at least to an extent. In the meantime, Bardock puts a robe on and pretends like he's about to take these guys out, and Alec tells him to get on with it. Bardock hesitates and tries to buy time by saying the Namekian used weird powers, so it might make sense to learn more before killing him. But Alec is not one to wait patiently. He shoots Granola's mom, leading to her death. And this, although sad, is an absolutely great move story-wise. I was worried that Granola's vengeance would continue to be empty and pointless when it was geared towards Goku and Vegeta, but now it actually makes sense for him to be an Avenger because he has a target that totally deserves it in Alec. After this flashback, suddenly Granola and the Heaters seem more interesting and relevant to the story, and I actually care about both of them more. Alec has no shame and even tells Bardock to kill the kid quickly, but Bardock unleashes an attack instead. Gas protects them and Bardock escapes with the others in the confusion. So not only did Bardock save Granola once, but twice, even putting his own life in jeopardy in order to do so. It's pointed out that they might have overheard their conversation, and Alec is worried that it will put them in hot water. So he decides that they will have to die. Gas is sent to finish them off while the rest prepare for Frieza's arrival. So we have a very interesting setup for Bardock versus Gas and the arrival of Frieza too. Super interesting stuff as far as flashbacks go, I gotta say. In the present, Gas is now remembering that day 40 years ago, and it's confirmed that he fought Bardock. And not only that, Bardock gave him reason to want revenge and made him suffer indignity, which is pretty hype and begs the question, what exactly happened? Will we actually get to see Bardock fight? Of course, Gas did get stronger since then, which would make sense, otherwise he obviously wouldn't be anywhere close to a threat for current Vegeta and Goku. However, Alec doesn't want to take any chances like last time and plans to use the Dragon Balls to ensure victory. They head for the second and final ball, and that is the end of this great chapter. And wow, I said it before and I'll say it again, this has been the most interesting arc for me, definitely preferring it to the Moro arc personally. And we still have Granola's revenge to look forward to, Frieza's arrival in the past and potentially in the present, and more more of Bardock. How much better can it get? But anyways, that is it for this one. If you did enjoy this review and want to keep them coming, make sure to channel the sand within and smash that like button like it was a heater. Remember, smashing that like button is Bardock energy and passing is Yamcha energy, so choose wisely. If you haven't, make this the video you subscribe, and this is crucial. Hit that notification bell to turn on all notifications or you will miss future Dragon Ball videos. That's just the way it works these days. And until next time, see ya, Space Cowboys.